Hey, horror fans, welcome back to Jay vs. Horror and another episode of Hardcore Horror Reviews. Now, today we're going to be talking about the 2012 Chilean film Visceral. And this is a little bit of a different film for extreme movies. It's not your usual extreme film where they just try to one up the last extreme film. This one has a style that's all its own, and it really cares more about sticking to that style than trying to outdo other gore films and shock films. Although, I think if you watch it, you will see that it is up there in that upper echelon of shocking extreme films. This one has a lot of violence in it, and it starts out we see a ex boxer who is kind of like on his last limb here, and he gets offered a fight that's basically an all or nothing fight, and it's a chance for him to prove that he deserves the champion gloves. But we also see that he's going mad and that he's kidnapping people and torturing them, beating them horrifically inside of his apartment, and he seems to be worshiping some kind of entity that has uh, become like manifested itself inside of his apartment through these murders, and it demands souls, and so he's trying to pay it off to get it to leave him alone, basically. And our killer here is different than most of the killers we see in these type of films, who don't seem to have a lot of motivation or much behind why they're doing what they're doing. He does have the old motivation of, mother doesn't love me, and it would be lame if they just went down that road, probably. But they also explore some other motivations of why someone might do this, and I'm not going to give those away because the story is not told in a linear narrative. It's told through three sections of this guy's life and the events that are unfolding in each section, and you have to kind of watch the film to figure out why this is happening. It's not really a mystery; it's a mystery of why. Uh, and so, as we draw near to the end of the film, we start to figure out maybe why this guy is doing what he's doing, and it's something that I hadn't seen done in other films. I will say that I think it's a very interesting take on this type of behavior that we haven't seen before. Uh, the film, as far as the extreme moments, yeah, it's over the top. Don't get me wrong. Don't think it's not in any way. It's just its own style. And the guy is obsessed with ropes. There's a tagline here for the movie, Visceral, between the ropes of madness. And you assume going in, if you know that it's about a boxer, that has something to do with the boxing angle, but it doesn't. The guy is obsessed with ropes and knots and things like that, and he attacks people and then ties them up in these sadomasochistic knots. Uh, there's a scene here where he attacks two young lovers that are having a spat in the hallway, and takes them hostage. When the female wakes up, she realizes that she is tied, mouth to mouth to her lover, who has been dead for several days. And we see that his corpse is decomposing in a horrible way. There's maggots coming out of his mouth into hers. It's terrible. And some other just disgusting scenes. There's a scene where he has a woman tied up and wrapped in plastic, and he's basically made a homemade punching bag, and every now and then he'll just go in there and beat the hell out of it while she moans and screams, and he doesn't have any intention of killing her, just hurting her again and again and again. And it goes throughout the movie because, like I said, the storyline is chopped up into three different segments, so you don't ever, you think, if we get past this scene, we'll get rid of that, at least we won't have to hear this woman screaming. No, it doesn't. It's not that easy, because it comes back around. And there's some other stuff I don't want to spoil. There's some great scenes in here. You've seen maybe a couple places before, but the way they do it here is all to its own. I'll say that. Some things involving skulls. Ugh. But yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff in this. The gore's not that great, but it's on par with most of these films. Probably a little better than some of the German stuff I've been watching lately. And yeah, it's a little film, small film, but it's, as far as being an extreme film, it definitely meets the criteria. It checks off all the things on the list that it takes to become a great gore film. But beyond that, it's actually also a really good film, which sets it apart from most of the films in the shock extreme subgenre. Um, it's not for everyone, and I don't think most people could get through the hard scenes to get to the end and realize that they actually watched a good movie. It would have to be someone who loves extreme films that would see this movie and then realize how good it actually is, because the violence alone in it, the guy's a rapist and he's a torturous psychopath murderer. Uh, it's kind of like we're shown. It's almost like a one-man play. The guy's in a room, and we see different victims throughout these different interludes. But basically, it's just about him. We don't, there's no character development for the victims. He sees people, he goes after them, and then we see that whatever horrible fate they meet. But the movie's really about him and how he's going mad, and it could simply be about that, and it would be pretty good. But there is like I said, there's a twist to the motivations here and why this all may be happening, that plays very well towards the end. And I think you guys will enjoy it if you can make it through the movie. So I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. Guys, I am putting a link to the movie, a free link to the movie in the description as always, so you can go check it out for yourself. Please remember to like and subscribe, because maybe this movie isn't for you, but we're going to be talking about a lot more. We've already talked about quite a few, and we're always going to try to get that link in there for you, or at least find a place where you can watch the film. So maybe this one's not for you, maybe the next one is. So make sure you like and subscribe so you can see what we got coming down the line. Next time, we're going to be talking about Salo, or Salo, however you want to say it. Now, this is one that was requested by our buddy Tony Kanopka when we started doing this hardcore horror review series. Tony wanted someone to take a look at Salo or Salo. He's not seen it yet, and I have seen it a couple times. I'm going to go back and revisit it one more time just to see what else I can draw out of this besides pure nastiness, because Salo, or Salo, however you want to say it, based on the Marquis de Sade's famous work, is one of the grossest movies I've ever sat through, that I've actually finished. And I think I've finished most of the ones I start unless I fall asleep. So, yeah, but we're going to be talking about that one next time, guys. And if you have any requests out there for extreme horror films that you'd like to hear us talk about, let us know in the comment section, and we will talk to you the next time we have something worth talking about. Bye.